Espanjassa Alcarrazin moottoriurheiluradalla ja mulla on hieno vieras tässä vieressä. Flattrack-reenit on ohi tänään ja mä teen lyhyen haastattelun kaverille, joka on Amerikan Flattrack-legenda. Nice to meet you, Bill.
My pleasure.
If it's okay, I make you a couple questions, short questions, and
okay.
I like to hear more. How did you get interested in motorcycles?
Oh, there was a neighbor who had a motorcycle when I was a young boy. He took me for a ride, and I liked the feeling of the wind and the sensation and everything. So I think that the very first, and I had an uncle who had a big Harley Davidson and sometimes take me for a ride. So as a young boy, I was kind of
nice. Okay. Nice thing. What age do you think?
8, 9 years old.
Okay.
10.
Okay. Briefly, tell me a few memorable moments of flat-track racing.
Oh, for me, there's many, but 3 that stand out in my head are winning the first championship with Jay Springsteen.
Yeah.
He was leading the points, and we get to the last race, and he had a crash in practice with his teammate, and the medics were going to take him to the hospital because he dislocated his finger, and they wanted to, it was a dislocation, they wanted to reset it. And I used to be a high school wrestling coach, and sometimes when kids fall, they dislocate their fingers all the time. And I knew that if you could just pull it back as soon as possible, it would be okay. So the medics were taking him, we're going to go to the hospital, and we would have lost the championship. So instead I said, Springer, bite on a bullet, I'm going to jerk it in place. And the medics looked at me like I was crazy, pulled it in place, and went, it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
And later that day, he had to only get 4th place to win the championship. So he started the race in 1st place. He was going around and going around and going around, and we were nervous that he was going too fast, that he didn't have to go that fast. He might crash because he was up by the wall. And late in the race, about 3 laps to go, the track champion, who was normally undefeated there, passed him on the outside. And we went, it's okay, he's in 2nd, it's good. He passed him back with a lap to go and won the race.
Yeah.
We didn't know whether to kiss him or hit him. So it was a pretty important, memorable moment. And the second one was in '85. For 2 years, Harley Davidson won no mile races. And the racing department was disbanded, and I was the only employee left. So Scott Parker hired me to work on his bikes at home, and I was just doing fabrication, engine rebuild, and we got to a race in Indianapolis, a night race on Saturday and a day race on Sunday. And in the night race, he was running okay, but the bike broke. So I spent from midnight to 8 o'clock in the morning taking engine parts, pieces, this, that, to make one good motorcycle. And during the day, he was going good. Heat race, I think he got 3rd. In the main event, he had to start in the back. Little by little, he worked his way to the front, and he beat Ricky Graham and Bubba Schobert, and he was the first Harley to win a mile in 2 years, and he set a new track record of 102 mile an hour average, and it was pretty special for me.
Yeah.
The third thing that sticks in my mind is after I retired from Harley Davidson, the AMA, the sanctioning body, called me and said, you know, flat track racing is good, but it's all Harley Davidson. It's all Harley Davidson. would you build a bike that could compete with the Harley Davidson in the junior class, like the restricted junior class? So I said, sure, you know, I think I can do that. I put one together, and I had some local riders ride it, and by the end of the year, they won a couple of the races in the underclass. So I thought, well, I think we could maybe win the premier class against the Harley Davidsons if I had a better rider, professional rider. So I went to Jim France. Springsteen and I went to Jim France and said, could you support us to build this bike? And he ran the series, so he thought, yeah, that'd be good for the series too. So he gave us the necessary funds to hire a professional rider and pay for our expenses and everything. And we did good at first, you know, 4th, 5th, and, you know, working our way up. And we got to Indianapolis, which is a track that a lot of the racers like. And Brian set fastest qualifying time, won his heat race. And the main event, Chris Carr jumped out to a big lead. We thought, well, you know, we're going to get second. It's good. Little by little, reeled him in and won it.
Yeah.
Next week we go to Springfield. Same thing. Little by little, him and Chris Carr won that. It was pretty special too.
Okay.
It's the first time never had a Kawasaki ever won a mile, ever in the history. Kawasaki loved it. It was within 2 years there were more Kawasaki's on the track than Harley Davidsons.
Oh.
So, you know, to me it felt
You changed the sport.
that's what Jim France said. You changed the sport.
Yeah.
And you could build a Kawasaki for maybe $15,000, and the Harley Davidson was $25,000. So the private, everybody loved it, and it stayed that way until India.
Yeah.
Then India changed it. You know, so, but those are high moments for me.
Yeah. Now it's hard question. Which is the best motorcycle brand? Manufacturer and brand.
Ooh, it depends on when. In the time span.
You can decide.
You know, from maybe the 70s to from 72 to maybe 85, the XR was far better.
Harley Davidson.
Yeah. 85, the Hondas had a better motor, a better motorcycle, and we had a really struggle to beat them. You know, it was very difficult. After the 80s, I'd say Kawasaki and Yamaha. You know, in the period that I did with the Kawasaki, Yamaha was good, Kawasaki was good, and then came Indian, and now I think the sport is going to change again, in my view, because of rule changes and what. And I think KTM is going to be the dominant brand because it's a magnificent engine, and yes, their twin should make the most power. It's the most flexible, and I'm predicting that in the next year or two, KTM will be the dominant brand.
Okay. Do you know any Finnish motorcycle riders?
Just you.
Have you heard?
No, I Janos Hernen. Yeah, the road
course.
racers.
Yeah.
Of course, I knew them through my connection with Harley Davidson, and they raced with the Harley team in Europe. So I'm familiar with the names. I never met them, but yes.
It's the, I think, famous Finnish motorcycle rider. Have you heard, or when you heard, that Finn drives a Flattrack?
I heard that there's one that is attempting to and wants to, and that would be you.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good for the sport. I think it'd be good for you, and in general good for motorcycling to have people from different countries come and compete to learn from one another. So it'd be good for the sport.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's a little bit different questions. Did you know that Santa lives in Finland?
I had no idea. No idea. No, I was always sending my mail to the North Pole.
In Finland.
In America, they say letter North Pole. That's where Santa lives. So
Oh, okay.
that's good information.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the interview, and it's really nice to meet you. And I want to give you, this is, you can look photos for Jarno.
Okay.
This is history of Finnish motorcycles 100 years.
Wow.
Last year is Finnish Motorcycle Federation is 100 years old.
Oh.
And this is salmiak. It's maybe some different candy.
What is the flavor? It looks like licorice.
Yeah, but
Different?
Yeah, different.
Okay. Thank you so much. I mean, it's been a pleasure getting to know you and meet you, watching you ride. I think you can be good in America. I think it'll be good for the sport. I think it'll be good for you. And if you come to America to race, I will cheer you on. I will come to the races.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right.